As you have just heard, as the global population and economy expands, metal resources are being used at an ever-increasing rate. Managing these resources efficiently is essential. As raw material consumption rates grow, we will continue to need to extract minerals and metals from the earth. Driven by economic growth in emerging economies, annual global use of metal is predicted to more than double between now and 2060. This has led to many people questioning whether we could or are run out of resources. The earth is finite, and it is therefore appealing to consider that the stock of minerals and metals in the earth's crust is fixed. However, when it comes to quantifying the totality of this geological stock, then our knowledge is really very limited. The terms generally used to describe and quantify the geological stock are mineral resources and reserves. It's important first to define what we mean by those terms. The term resources is often used in a loose, generic manner which does not closely align with a well-defined quantitative figure, for example, our oil resources. Geologists, however, define a mineral resource as a part of a mineral deposit that has reasonable prospects for eventual economic extraction. The term mineral resource implies that there's some probability that it will convert into mineral reserves and that it has economic potential, technological viability, and social and environmental license to operate are possible, but they haven't been proven yet. Overall, the level of certainty associated with resources is less than for what we term reserves. A mineral reserve is an economically mineable part of a mineral resource. It is defined by pre-feasibility and feasibility studies which convert resources into reserves by considering a range of factors such as mining, processing, metallurgical, infrastructure, economic, marketing, legal, environmental, social and governmental, all of which may influence extraction at the time of reporting. The important point to recognise is that reserves are nothing more than a working stock of mines that are currently in production or have the potential to be in production in the future. A good way to remember this is to think of the food in your kitchen or in the supermarket as your reserves. Your resources include everything that is currently being grown or prepared by the food industry to become food or reserves in the future. That's not the total sum of all food that will be available in the future, as new crops will be grown and new animals will be born to provide future food. Thinking of minerals in this way, the reserves and resources that exist now do not record all available minerals. It's a snapshot of the minerals accessible to us at this very moment, but they do not represent what might be obtainable in the future. Given favourable conditions, additional resources can be found and converted into reserves. During exploration for new mineral deposits, the owners of a project or deposit usually publish the resource and, where available, the reserve information, depending on the stage that a mineral exploration project is at. Investors use this information to decide their financial contribution towards an exploration project, and it also informs the global market about potential new raw materials entering the supply chain. Calculating the resource and reserve figures is a key part of the exploration process, but geology is not the only controlling factor. There are many other important aspects to be considered when developing a deposit into viable reserves and resources. These can be technical, for example, what minerals are in the deposit and can we process them? There are also environmental, social and political factors. For example, what waste do we produce? How is it going to be stored? Does the local community support the development of a mine? Are there any restrictions to developing a mine in a particular area? For example, changes in government policy. Economic factors must also be considered. What is the price of a mineral? Do I have to transport it for processing? Are there stable energy and water resources nearby, and are they affordable? These recent news headlines showcase the importance of these issues and how they must all be considered, as a combination of these factors, along with the geology, govern whether a mineral deposit can be developed into a potential mine with defined resources and reserves.